Action, and this is our third interview. We can see that one of the biggest issues affecting our community is housing. How comfortable, suitable, and affordable houses are. Today, we have invited people from Housing Action Southwark Lambeth, and we'll talk to them about housing issues. Welcome, Fausia and Pamela.
Thank you all. Thank you for the invitation. It's really an honor. I work with HASL. I have been with HASL since 2017. They have helped me with my housing, and now I'm helping in return, and also doing translations, and also helping out with the group, as I have many experience and expertise in housing issues and also welfare benefits.
I am Pamela. I've been a member of HASL for about 2 years. And currently I live in a temporary accommodation. I am homeless at the moment. And for that reason, this group is quite important in my life, because I can understand any problem about the situation, because it's my situation at that moment.
Thank you very much, Fausia and Pamela. Now, my partner Ricardo will start with the questions.
Hello, Pamela. Hello, Fausia. My name is Ricardo. I have some questions for all of you. The first question is, what is the causes of London housing crisis?
Thank you, Ricardo, for the question. There are many causes, and combining those causes have caused like a crisis in London, especially in the populated area, like in central London and also surrounding the central London area. The root causes of London housing crisis are, high private rents, insecurity in the private rented sector, low wages, also the cut of welfare benefits, and also desperate shortage of new council housing being built, especially family-sized council properties like 3, 4, 5 bedrooms. And also the private landlords, they have power. They can evict their tenants with, just with issuing them 21 section notice. Also, when you are in a private rented accommodation, the landlord can say, like, you have to increase your rent by the double amount, or he will threaten to evict you. You don't have any securities. There are also housing associations which our members do get confused by. These housing associations, they say affordable rent, which is absolutely not affordable rent, because it's 80% of the market rent. Also, if you see in Southwark or in London, there are properties being built. These properties that are being built are not like affordable at all. They are really expensive, and also for the selling market. If you want to buy it, if you have the money, yes, but as a council property or housing association, it's not. And most of those properties are 1 or 2 or 3 bedrooms, and we need like 3, 4, 5 bedroom council properties. So all these things has caused the crisis in London, housing shortages, especially in London.
Could you explain more what is HASL for you?
HASL is like a family. It's absolutely, when I say like a family, it's like when you go to an advice center or a housing group, you have to make an appointment in a 2 or 3 or 4 weeks time, or sometimes in a month. But in HASL, it's not like that. When a family has an emergency, you don't tell them to make an appointment. At HASL, we deal if it's emergency, after working hours or even if it's a weekend. I remember one time a member went with another member to the homeless unit, and that person was being threatened. The council was not helping them. They would have been, homeless, street homeless with her children. She was a single lady. So another member went with her from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. until she has received another key for another temporary accommodation. And the council was refusing to help the lady with the children, just basically gatekeeping her. But the other member has an experience and also was more knowledgeable, and she offered to help our member. So in HASL, we are, we help each other. We campaign together. We have a bigger voice when we, do everything together. You don't have to be on your own when you're having the issues or the problems. You don't say like, yes, I do have these issues and I'm suffering on my own. But with HASL, with all expertise and also the knowledge and the experiences and the campaign, everything put together, we see direct results.
When did HASL start?
HASL started in 2013 with members of a local community, and they were facing with housing problems and overcrowding and eviction, welfare benefits. So all our groups are run by the members, and we also encourage people to know about their rights, about their housing rights, and the council property is not like, that you're begging for, is a right that you have, and also a security. All our members are volunteers, only few people work. So we encourage our members to know their rights and also to know their cases, and also to benefit from other members as well, and to help and as much as they can get involved with the group. So HASL stands for Housing Action Lambeth and Southwark. The issues that we face it together as a group.
Hello, Pamela Foncia. Thank you for attending our interview. I am Pedro. I am an ESOL student at IFA. So my first question is for Pamela, is who founded HASL?
HASL is a group of people from Lambeth and Southwark who had experience of homelessness and welfare system decide to make the group. And this time in 2013, the government were making a lot of cuts to benefits. We were worried about the impact of these welfare cuts on people in our boroughs, as we knew that the cuts will cause a lot of poverty and homelessness. So we wanted to have an action group where we could support each other and challenge the government policies. And as well, we were also inspired by a group called Hackney Housing Group.
Thank you for your answer, Pamela.
You're welcome.
Okay, my second question is, how many people work in HASL at the moment, and how many are volunteers?
Well, our group is led and run by our members who give their time for free. When the group got very big, we applied for a foundation in 2018, to have one person paid to work 2 days. This year, we have been able to pay for another person to work 1 day per week, but majority of HASL work is done by our members, giving their time to the group. So really, if everyone are volunteers, and this involves hundreds of people supporting the group in different ways.
Thank you. And my last question for you is, are you a governmental organization?
No, we are an independent group. Being independent is very important to us. It means that we can challenge the government when we need to, and that we always represent the issues that are important to our members.
Thank you. I just want to end by thanking you for all the help you are giving to all the people. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So my partner, Monse, will continue with this interview.
Okay. Thank you, Pedro. Hello, Fosia and Pamela. I have 3 questions for you today, okay? My first question is, what did you do at the beginning to get the organization going, and what do you do to sustain it?
Thank you for your question. We used to do leaflet distributions outside the housing office. Word of mouth through family, friends, and neighbors recommendation has made our group members grow over 100. To sustain it, we do have a group training Zoom meetings for our main organizers about housing laws, welfare benefits. We always encourage people to stay involved in the group and also to support the group in whatever way they are able to do so. What we can achieve more together is, once we come together, we can achieve more. That is what we have seen. Before COVID-19, we would always celebrate our victories at our housing meetings and also end of year. And this would help us to inspire and also motivate us as well. We would also have parties and social events together.
Okay, thank you. My next question is, do you work with other organizations?
Yes, we do with other organizations. We find it really helpful to work with other organizations and learn from them as well. For example, Southwark Law Center, Public Interest Law Center, are law centers which we work with. English for Action. We work with Moms is based in Camberwell, who are a community group for moms and babies in Southwark. There is also a Haringey Housing Action Group, who are like our group but in North London. We recently had a meeting with anti-poverty charity, Joseph Rowntree Foundation, and we have also spoken with an activist at the housing charity shelter. We have been running a campaign about Southwark Council mistreatment of families in overcrowded housing. In September last year, we wrote an open letter to the council highlighting our experiences and also the council's culture of blaming the families and also refusing the overcrowded families, and over 30 community groups signed the letter, and this has helped to have more impact.
Okay, thank you. And my next question is, do you help people only living in Southwark and Lambeth, or people from other boroughs as well?
Most of our members are from Lambeth and Southwark, as this is where we have the most knowledge and also expertise. But we have members from Lewisham, Islington, Merton, Croydon, Hammersmith and Fulham, Wandsworth and City of London. So we do help our London boroughs. If there is a local group that we can suggest someone attending in their home borough, we always send to their local group. We would also be very happy to help people to set up local housing action groups in their own boroughs.
Okay, thank you. Now, my partner Carlos will continue with the interview. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Fosia, thank you for this interview. My name is Carlos, and I would like to ask you, has HASL been successful?
Thank you for your question, Carlos. Yes, very successful in lots of different ways. We are really proud of everything we have achieved together as a group. As a group, we have grown in members over the years. There are over 600 people on our WhatsApp list. And also our members have also developed so much knowledge and skill on housing, campaigning, and also organizing the group. We are really proud of this because this has helped the group to grow and also helped to run the group as well, because in a Saturday we have over 100. So 1, 2, 3 people cannot do it, but you know, if the group comes together, they can absolutely help in many different ways. We have also people who are more knowledgeable in the local housing laws. So with the support of the group, we have helped lots of our members to get the secure council housing in their local community, and we have seen firsthand how life-changing it is, and also to get a council property. Even for families who are still years away from this, they still tell us how much they value the support of the group. When you're overcrowded or living in temporary accommodation far away from your community, every day of your life is a negative, it might be, you know, negatively impacted. For example, traveling across London to get to school. Then when someone finally has a council housing back in their community, you can see the relief on their faces. This is what has inspired us to keep the campaigning for high quality, safe, secure 3, 4, 5 bed council housing. We also know that we have been successful because we know that our local council takes us seriously when we write to them or contact them for our members.
Okay. What have been your biggest victory?
Some of our biggest victories, like in Lambeth campaign and legal victory, which resulted in hundreds of families who have been removed from the Lambeth housing list register and therefore denied any hope of social housing, have their bidding accounts returned to them. Also, Lambeth Council apologized to the families. This was a very significant victory for homeless people's rights in Lambeth. And that legal challenge was led by 5 HASL members who were the claimants of the legal case. In Southwark, for years, we have been supporting families living in serious overcrowding, who faced, who were, you know, so the council was saying, you are the blame for your overcrowding, and sometimes they were being put into band 4. So we have been campaigning for these families for years, using different tactics, also supporting, getting lawyers, also protesting in the town hall. We have spoken at a cabinet meeting. Also, we did a postcard protest. Over 200 people have taken part, and they showed their support for our members as well. We wrote an open letter signed by over 30 community groups. Then in December last year, one HASL family were successful in the Court of Appeals. They successfully challenged Southwark Council decision that their overcrowding housing was caused by a deliberate act. This was a big victory for the family, and we hope that it will help other Southwark families as well. It was a long legal challenge. The family first joined the housing register over 2 years ago, and it was 2 years until they successfully successful at the legal process, because the legal process can be slow. But throughout this time, the family had the support and also emotional support from our group. Victories and family rehoused back in the borough. Back in 2019, 4 Southwark families had been rehoused outside of the borough, and they had really difficult time with their daily lives. For example, work, children going to school, getting buses, sometimes 3 buses from work or from school. So one of the children's hair started to fall out. So we went to the town hall, over 50 of us chanting and protesting. And after 2 hours, the manager came to us, the housing manager, and then he agreed, and he said the families should be rehoused back into the borough. And there and then we saw these families being rehoused. So it was a very successful day for us that day.
What plans do you have for the organization?
We have lots of plans this year and also the coming years. We are having our start of the year planning meeting tomorrow, 30th of Saturday. We will be discussing with our main organizers what plans we want to make for 2021. Both Lewisham and Southwark Council are running consultations on their housing allocation policy. The housing allocation policy are basically the rules who can be joining the housing register and what position or banding people will be, should be. If a council wants to change the rules, they must do a consultation, and they have to consult the public. And sometimes they just pretend that they doing a consultation, like now in the middle of the pandemic, and a lot of people that we have spoken to who live in these boroughs, they don't know. So it is really important that housing allocation policy are as fair as possible, so that the worst the housing condition have the highest, so the worst possible housing allocation as fair as possible for the families that are affected. We will be making sure that both Lewisham and Southwark also make the fairest policies possible. Related to this, Bamila has a legal challenge about a new policy that Southwark Council has introduced back in 2019 to the housing allocation policy. The council were telling new homeless applicants that if they took private rented instead of the homeless duty, then they will be put into band 2 of the housing register. This means that the homeless families in temporary accommodation in band 3 would see new homeless application who took this offer queue jump ahead of them. Bamila is working with another HASL member, Roxana, and with Derek from Camden Community Law Center to challenge this new policy. And this should be happening soon. This legal challenge and the campaign we built will help to protect the rights of homeless families. Lots of our members are EU citizens, and also with the obvious, with the Brexit, this has caused them a lot of anxiety and uncertainty. It is really important that all EU citizens and their families should apply for settled status before the deadline, which is 30th of June 2021. We'll be running a workshop for EU citizens to learn about what has changed with Brexit and what their rights are now. Already this year, one of our members was wrongly denied homeless assistance. The housing officer wrongly told her that because she had a pre-settled status, she was not eligible for homeless assistance. This homeless assistance, this was incorrect, and our member was eligible. We helped her to challenge the housing officer, and her homeless application continued. We expect that we will see lots more incorrect decisions like this, as housing officers do not understand the new rules, and also they use the new rules as a way to gatekeep people. So it's really important that we all learn our rights and also what the new rules are. Lots of our members have faced benefit problems as well, and COVID-19 has made also created lots of financial uncertainty for people. We will be running workshops on universal credit. The last year with COVID-19 has been incredibly challenging, even before COVID. So many of our members were struggling with very difficult housing situations. COVID-19 has made people's housing conditions even more difficult, especially for families who have suffered lockdown in overcrowded housing. With Brexit as well, this year, this is another challenge, and our plans to make sure that people know they are not alone, and also to support each other and fight for our rights, for a housing and for migrants' rights. Of course, we will continue and campaign for the high quality, safe, secure 3, 4, 5-bed council homes as well, as we all need and deserve.
Thank you very much, Fausia, for your answer. Pamela, I would like to ask you the next questions. What campaign are you currently running?
Well, we have our campaign in Southwark with families in overcrowded housing. As we say, we had an important victory recently, but we have not won until there is no more overcrowding. In Lambeth, we have a campaign called Too Long in Temporary, with families in temporary accommodation, like me. Lambeth Council put homeless families in temporary accommodation in Band C of the waiting list, where they can never get council housing. And so we have been campaigning for this. We also campaign for better homeless rights, for example, to make sure homeless households are housed close to their homes, inside or close to the school, right? There is our campaign for 3, 4, 5-bed council homes. We also support campaigns by other groups, such as the campaign against the benefit cuts, which is a cruel limit of benefit to families who are not working, and calls to end no recourse to public funds, which means that some migrants cannot access benefit or homeless assistance because of their migration status is not correct. Both of these policies cause huge suffering and poverty, and there can be no justification for that.
Thank you very much, Pamela. And I know you are doing a great job, this organization. Now, thank you. Now, Antonio is going to ask you another question.
Hello, my name is Antonio. I have some questions for you.
Hello, Antonio.
The first question is, what consequences of the pandemic on housing have you seen? Have you supported people affected by the pandemic?
Yes, a lot of our members have been directly affected by COVID-19 pandemic. Families have been trapped in overcrowded housing where they cannot self-isolate if they catch the virus. Overcrowded housing affects families' mental and physical health before COVID-19, but being in lockdown in overcrowded housing has made these families' health even worse. People have also lost work or seen their hours reduced. We have been reminding our members that if there are any change of circumstances and your income goes down, you must report this to any benefit you receive to make sure that you are receiving the correct benefit. This is really important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question is, what advice would you give to someone with an immediate housing problem or who wants to learn more about housing rights?
If you are worried about a housing problem, it's important to get help immediately. the sooner you get help, it's easier it will to deal with this problem. There are a lot of good organizations where can get professional advice. Shelter is a housing charity that had lots of really good and clear information on their websites, and they also have a free telephone advice line. We can help to recommend good housing lawyers who may be able to help with your case. You may be able to get a legal aid, which means that you not have to pay for legal advice and representation. Unfortunately, legal aid has been cut by the government, so legal aid only covers some housing problems, and not everybody qualified for legal aid. But it's good to check with a good housing lawyer about your situation. And of course, we welcome to get involved in HASL. Even if you don't have a housing problem, you can still learn more about housing rights. So then we'll know how to help your friend, and you will be prepared if you ever face a housing problem.
Thank you. The next
You're welcome.
The next question is, how can people be in contact with you?
By sending a text message to HASL, our phone, which is 07930062282, with their name and email address. They then will receive our answer, and we put on the group our meeting on WhatsApp every time. Or if you can email us as well, you can get in touch with HASL in hasl@gmail.com, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Thank you very much for your time and for this interview.
No, you're welcome.
Thanks everyone for watching this video. We hope it helped you a lot. If you are struggling with housing, HASL is an organization that can give you support. Just contact them.